I've always liked making things that can be used. I've done pottery, making functional things. I like to grow things that we eat.
I really like working with my hands just because it's something that I've done, and I haven't had to pay money to have somebody else do the same work that I can do.
Knitting is a companionable thing. You visit with people.
I think that's where it all started whenever I was in elementary school. I made the little friendship bracelets, and I haven't really stopped. Cool. I mean, who needs to lose friendship? Not me.
I mean, there's a camaraderie that evolves.
You're just, the only thing you want to know when they walk in the room is, what are you knitting? Where'd you get your yarn?
My grandmother taught me when I was maybe about 8.
Just something to do. It was interesting and creative.
I knit in class, and it always sparks a lot of interest. What are you knitting? How do you do it? Is it hard?
My sister and I used to, on Saturdays, ride the bus downtown to what was then Blass's department store, and there was a lady there that taught knitting. And you bought one skein of yarn, and you knitted, and you went back next week, and she told you what to do. You didn't get a pattern.
I got into knitting because my oldest was a senior, and there was this hat that it was really a little kid's hat, and she wanted it, and I thought, well, I can learn to knit and knit her one, and that's all I was going to do. And so I just got addicted right away.
I learned to knit when I was a kid, I guess I was 8 or something, and then off and on I've knit since then, taking breaks.
9/11 created a sense in people of wishing that things were back like they once were, and I really think that the young people sparked the knitting revolution, which there really has been.
I think I was really noticing, about 5 years ago, that people were wearing a lot of hand knit stuff. I think everyone was wearing those dumb ponchos, like the one that Martha Stewart made. Do you remember that when she was in jail? And so
knitting has definitely become a lot more trendy, especially in the more recent years, and knitting in public is a lot more widespread on subways and stuff. You don't see it as much in Arkansas because we don't have subway systems and that sort of thing, which is why Ravelry is handy, because you can find out where the knitters are in Arkansas.
Well, Ravelry is an online social networking site for knitters and crocheters.
It provides a lot of patterns and groups that people can join to just find commonalities.
I learned about it from some knitting blogs I was reading. I would go on blogs and try to find designs that I wanted to make and see how other people had dealt with them. Well, this woman and her husband were in Vermont, and she was doing the same thing.
It also has, my favorite feature is the yarn shop feature. You can search for yarn shops in your area, or if you're planning on traveling somewhere, you can enter in the city and find yarn shops in that city, which has proven extremely exciting for me as I'm going to college, and I'm like, I wonder what yarn shops are in the colleges.
I think she got the idea maybe 3 years ago that they could create a community with some of the features that maybe Facebook has, and people could share all their patterns and their yarn and their technical ideas, and then form groups. And so that's how I got hooked up with it.
I go to the Arkansas School for Math Sciences and the Arts. A girl on my floor knits, and we knit together, and then a bunch of other people started getting interested in, what are you knitting and that sort of thing, and then we taught about 6 or 8 other people on our floor to knit. It's just a neat thing to all get together for something.
My friend Judy actually, she learned how to knit first. The internet's great. It's a great way to meet people and stuff, so
She was using knittinghelp.com, and I got onto crochetville.org, and we just started advertising. It started out as knitting and crocheting, but we really, truly, we don't limit the type of people that can come to our group. That's why we kind of went with the Yarn Dogs name, because that way anyone, it doesn't matter if you're into knitting or crochet, if you're a spinner, you know, or anything that's craft oriented that has to do with thread or yarn or whatever, we don't mind.
I think I see a lot of younger people knitting, which is really good because it brings a lot of fresh ideas to the projects. And
I eventually want to not have any clothes that I haven't made myself, and so that is kind of a feat I'm taking on myself, whether I sew them or I hand knit them. I want to eventually just own clothes that I have made or that others have made for me. Or
projects that you have something you can do while you talk to people, and you have to have something you can do when you're alone, and it requires a lot of attention, and it's fun to be able to switch.
Right now I'm making a pair of socks, and these are pretty cool because I took a class on dyeing, on hand dyeing, and it was really, really fun.
I get really excited whenever I get to go pick out yarn, and I really like all the colors and all the textures.
And we learned how to mix the dyes. We started with red, yellow, and blue, and we could make any colors we wanted. It was really fun.
I mean, I find that very fascinating about knitting, that you can still learn.
Definitely, there's always something new that you can learn, like a technique or how different yarns work together. And I'm not the best math student, and knitting is a lot of math, like figuring out how to get your gauge right, and so that's something that is always challenging to me.
We figured there's always time. People say, I don't have time to knit. Well, you sit in the car waiting for your children or waiting for something. Lots of times that you could if you were so interested.
It feels good to make something. It's instant gratification. I feel accomplished.
Well, you ought to be able to pick up your knitting and knit a few stitches. Don't waste your time.